good, guys? Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurs. It is your girl, Coach K. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm super excited for this episode. Before I get started, though, you know what I'm going to ask. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you see my beautiful face on YouTube. But if you are listening on your favorite audio platform, then make sure you favorite me so you don't miss the new episodes that's coming after this one, because you're going to love this one. So if you are watching on YouTube, then you see I am not by myself. How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
I love it. I love it. Please let the listeners know who you are, what you do, all that good stuff.
All right. I am super excited to be here. Thank you so much
Super
for inviting
excited.
me.
Super excited to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Krystal Stegmaier, and I am the founder of Free and Purposed, and also I'm a life coach and an author of Captivating Creation Seasons, which is a book that helps women find freedom and purpose within their faith and life struggles. And it has already helped so many people. It's in the new beginning stages, and we're going to talk about some of it. I mean, it's not easy when you you are doing not of the world, but something different, and it's scary, but it's been really cool to see the fruit of just dedicating, putting in the work. And the tough stuff.
And I love it. And we are going to talk all about that today. Me and Krystal have met in a women's community group here in our city. And I love connection. You guys know I talk about it all the time. Getting uncomfortable, stepping out of your comfort zones, meeting new people. And I'm super excited to have met her, but also to hear the vibe with her today on the Woman's Hustle. So again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. So Krystal, tell us a little bit more about your backstory and what got you where you are today.
Yeah. So I did hair for 18 years, which I love doing hair. That was I loved it when I was a little girl. I loved everything beauty. I would sit back when you didn't know McDonald's was bad for you.
Right.
I would just sit with fries. I would dip my fries in the ketchup and just paint my nails. And so I've always been super girly. Although I love to go climbing at the climbing gym, and I love mountain biking, and I can get dirty.
Yeah.
So I'm girly, but I love the beauty side of doing hair, but I also love the people side of it. I loved it's kind of counseling when you do hair.
It is.
You're helping the person that's sitting in the chair. So I've always had a heart for helping, but I struggled with some physical issues. I wasn't able to continue doing hair. And that's when I remember I was challenged for 10 days. You know how sometimes Facebook, people ask you to do this for 10 days. And I don't do those things very often, but someone challenged me to write a Bible verse for 10 days. And I'm like, I can't just do a verse. My husband and I would do photography on the side and video, and I thought I got to have a picture that goes with it. And then after that, I thought, well, you can't just share a verse. You have to, how does it relate to you? And where's the heart from it?
Right.
So then I started just writing little things like what it meant to me. And I did it for 10 days, and then like, oh, I like this. And so I kept doing it. And then I put them into different topics. And that is what ended up becoming Captivating Creation Seasons. So there's a photo for each day. And 2 years into writing the book, I was stuck. Mm-hmm. I was lost for words. I didn't know what to do. I was like, Lord, what do I do? Right. Is this what I'm really even supposed to be doing? Because then we question ourselves.
Absolutely.
And then I felt just directed to go to school, and I became a life coach. And that was the secret sauce in that book that helps people. Sometimes we have to have an action to move forward after we learn about something. So at the end of each day, there's 60 days in the book. And after the end of each day, it asks you this really deep, thought-provoking question to stir you on within your faith and life struggles, because we all struggle.
Oh my goodness.
I struggle every day. Just because I'm sitting here, just because I wrote a book and I've gone through school and done all the things, doesn't mean we'll talk about that later.
We definitely will.
But what's really cool is this book that I wrote has blossomed. And now I went through the book. It's a book study now.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to walk through 2 groups of women, and just it's been so cool watching them have breakthroughs. And
I just love your face. It's glowing like right now, just when you talk about it. Like, and we've had several conversations, and like every time you talk about it, your face just lights up so much. You can clearly tell that this is purpose, passion, desire, faith, like obedience. It is all of that for you. And it shows so much. Like, and I'm just super excited that you want to talk about it on the Woman's Hustle. Like, and I love, you touched on a couple things that I do want to go back on, and it comes to like the uncertainties, right? Because like you even said, like, well, I'll do the Facebook stuff for some time to speak, but it was meant for you to do that particular one.
yeah,
At that time, you just didn't realize where that was taking you, but it also was a matter of like a personal journey for you too, because I kind of get the feeling of you were kind of stuck, not just wanting what you want to do as an entrepreneur or starting, but also on a personal level. Is that like,
yeah, I was kind of doing it for fun.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was, I feel like so many times we feel like we have to do something.
Yeah.
And we have to pursue something because it sounds right, or it's a moneymaker, or
Mhm.
but then you get into that, and it's, thankfully I pursued my passion. But I started out in nursing before I went to cosmetology school, and I love the helping others side of it. But they told me I couldn't paint my nails, and I was kind of like, I don't know about that.
I'm evaluating things.
I know. I know it sounds silly.
No, it doesn't though.
But when
like,
you are, that's a value of mine.
Yeah.
Is beauty a value of mine? I mean,
Yeah.
fun. I have to have fun in everything I'm doing. If I'm not having fun, and if I go to a job and I'm not enjoying it, what's the purpose of it?
Man, and I think that that's something that we really want to become purposeful in understanding that, yes, we want to get paid. Yes, we know we have to make a living. But at some point in time, we do have to decide, okay, got to figure out something that makes me happy. We're over the, I'm just going to work just to get a check, because we see, and especially when it comes to like mental health or well being, like we are seeing so many people struggle and suffer behind that. Me being a full-time entrepreneur now, I love walking in purpose, but I'm still mindful. But I know every day when I wake up, this is purpose for me every single day. And that's what carries me, having complete faith. That's not something I always did, transparent moment. I wasn't always spiritual, I'm growing up, even though was always a believer, it wasn't anything that was, given to me. I just had to learn things on my own. And, I was lost a lot of times, so I think just as an entrepreneur, being uncertain about life's purpose, you went to nursing, that wasn't working for you. You're like, yeah, I can't pay my nails, but also this isn't purposeful for me, but then also going to cosmetology school, you were in purpose with there, but you shifted. You shifted and still was still that people person by becoming a life coach. I don't think people realize they don't really give us enough credit sometimes as coaches, because sometimes we are that supportive factor for people in spaces that you would never even imagine, so I love that you stepped into that. And so tell us like a little bit more, like what side of the coaching, who do you specifically work with?
So right now, I work with mainly women and helping them just through life struggles, but I've actually been doing more coaching alongside the book. There's been women that have started it and then they're struggling. They're like, I've never worked through this before.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do I have hope? A lot of people have gotten stuck on the hope and trust section of the book because it's like, I don't know how to even think about having hope right now. And then I've done group coaching with a group of women going through it. So that's my heart, is to help women find freedom and purpose. Yeah. So that's the kind of coaching that I do.
I love it. I love it. And I like that you touched on how women don't know where to find their hope factor, right? Because we struggle with that internally. As women, we want to show up for everybody else, but then when it comes to us, we struggle with that. It's easy for us to deflect, right? It's easy for us to deflect and try to help everybody else. But how are we helping ourselves? I've learned with the mindset shift and transformations that I've done over the years, I can't help anyone unless I'm the most mentally healthy version of myself. And that's involving me being able to say no from time to time. That's involving me really discovering who I am. Because I've been a coach for 4 years, but in the beginning, I want to help everybody. And that was too broad. So I still wasn't in purpose yet because I hadn't identified who I wanted to work with and what I wanted to do. And that was an internal struggle for me because I don't want to leave any women behind, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I know you don't want to miss out on what if that was an opportunity.
Yep. It's true.
But as long as we're faithful with what's right in between our 2 feet and we're good with that and the people that come to us, then I feel like we can waste so much time. I can't tell you how many coaching programs I've put out there and said, hey, relationship coaching. I can't remember all of them but nobody bit at any of those things because that wasn't my niche, whatever.
I know.
I think.
There you go.
And then I knew that it all goes together, free and purpose.
Yep. I love it. And I touching base because you had to figure that out. Now on your journey, I know there was some fear of not succeeding, right?
Oh yeah.
And to this day, we're not going to say that we don't have those moments right now because we do, and I absolutely do. But as you narrow things down for yourself, where did that fear come in? Where did that imposter syndrome, all of that? I really want to get into that a little bit.
I was very successful doing hair.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't take new clients. I knew that I was good at what I did.
Yeah.
And I knew that everybody loved me. They told me all the time, Krystal, my hair looks amazing. I feel so good.
Yeah.
And then when that was over, I had everyone was praising me every day. And then I had none of that. And so then I thought, am I good enough?
Yeah.
And then I started writing this book and I went through, I studied it myself. It took me 7 years to write it. So I had a lot of hashing it out with the whole entire book, but through it, I had my value, my worth came from my job before. It came from how much I made, and how many people I was able to impact and affect. And then I had none. So I had to kind of take a step back, reevaluate myself. Going to life coaching school, 2 years into writing the book, I learned a lot about myself, things that I never knew about myself. So as those things started to unravel and I started to understand, oh, this is who I am. And I don't have to apologize for who I am because so many people, they're like, I'm sorry I'm not more this and I'm sorry I'm not more that. But this is my heart too. And I'm about to get
hey, say it.
So many people, and I don't know if you're listening today, maybe you are one that does this and comparing yourself with somebody else and try and grab onto other people's values and other people's things and what they're doing and what they're good at. And as we grab onto it, then we mess it all up because it's not who we were created to be. And when we actually are able to step in to who God created us to be, because we are his masterpiece, we are created to do so many amazing things. But if we're chasing after the wrong things, then it's just not going to work. And we're going to feel like we're not enough. We're going to feel like we're not smart enough. We're going to feel like we don't have enough value, like we don't matter. But when we step into that woman that is powerful and amazing, then boom, things go off. And then when you said that I'm glowing or whatever you said, that's why. It's because I'm living out who I am supposed to be, not Keisha, because I can't be you, but you can't be me. We can't be each other.
And I love that you touched on that because I see so many of us, especially as women, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, whatever it is that you're doing, I see so many of us trying to imitate others. And it's not that you're necessarily trying to copy, but you see that it might be working for them. But why it's working is exactly what Krystal said, is because they're walking in their purpose. They are doing what they are supposed to be doing. I even love that you said the fact that you had to find out who you were on a personal note first, because as entrepreneurs, we will try to surpass that part and just step into the business side when we don't even have a clear view on what our personal purpose looks like.
Mhm.
So the fact that you did that and opened that door is why you were able to say, you know what, this is who I am. This is where I am. You broke your niches down and said, hey, because now I've personally discovered who I am. I
Yeah.
now know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I think that that is dope. And that is what it's about. There is a process when you begin a business, when you're starting it on any level, whether it's full time, part time, seasonal, whatever it is, you still have to have some purpose behind that. It's super important that we understand that. Oh, girl, I love the vibe. And I want to talk a little bit about that pressure too, because sometimes we do feel the pressure when we, from family and friends, maybe when we say we want to do something, we might have their support, you know, in the beginning. But then sometimes it may become pressure because they're steady questioning us. Well, why hasn't this taken off? Why are you doing this? Why hasn't this happened yet? You know, and then now you feel that pressure. So how has that happened? Has that happened for you, with you? Like, how did you handle that?
Oh, it still happens. It's
Really raw,
I
really
mean,
raw.
it's to be
Yeah.
like completely like
Yeah.
let it out.
Sure. Hey.
Just
Right
this
on.
last week, my husband and I mean, you have, I love him with
Yeah.
all of my heart. Like, we are so compatible. He is the detail master, which I am not. And then I'm kind of the fun, bubbly,
Yeah.
whatever that. So then together we're great. But he's like, the detail is like, okay, I know that this isn't taking off as much as what we were hoping it would. And like, when do you need to get a real job?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, a lot of that is, you know, it's trusting. And and this is a word I got. And I told you this when we were on the phone several months back. I was not happy. I was passionate. I was running and I hadn't ran in a really long time. And I went in the woods and I just started running in the woods. And I'm like, God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Nothing's going right. And I was like, the only thing I heard was good things take time. And I have been living that out. And I was telling my husband the other day, well, good things take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And I know that this is going to help, and it already has helped so many women.
Yeah.
I just released the book in May.
You're in the process with it, because as she said, she's, you know, doing groups and she's teaching classes and things like that. So that's just another level of the journey for you.
Yeah.
You know, I think what happens is when we say we're coaches, people just envision us just doing one set thing, like one-on-ones and things like that. And although I still do those, I also have group sessions. I also have supportive groups. I also have courses. Like, all of those things are available, but you are actually teaching through the book. So let's get into the book, Captivating Creations Season. And then let me just say, y'all, she gifted these to me. I'm so appreciative. But yes, so let's get into these a little bit, right? I want you to really pick out a part in here that you would love to tell us about.
Okay.
Yeah.
There in the very beginning of this book, it's in the season of the very end of summer, but it's a day that talks about loving yourself, because sometimes it's really hard to love ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you're listening, you don't love yourself every day.
Absolutely.
And this is a quote from my book. It says, to be wise is to love yourself despite your circumstances. Understand who you are created to be so you can prosper. As you grow to love yourself more on the inside, you begin to love your reflection on the outside, flaws and all. Because, friends, these flaws may actually be the secret sauce that makes you you.
That is awesome. I love it. Ooh, I got chills, y'all. I got chills. Listen, I love that Krystal is here today, because Krystal is giving us a little bit of the spiritual side of elevating and step into who we are as women, but also as entrepreneurs, but also understanding that support comes in so many different ways and forms. And you really have to be in tune with yourself on a holistic level for things to begin to elevate for you. And nothing's going to be perfect. Like we talked about perfectionism right before we started recording.
Yeah, nothing's perfect.
Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And if you're waiting for that, then I'm here to tell you that you're never going to start. And I don't want that for you. I really want to see you succeed. I really want to see you thrive. And you've got to really identify with what that looks like for you. You know, again, like she said, she had to find what worked for her, and also being able to step into the side, but also understanding that her husband, and thank you so much for being transparent with,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but also her husband's like, hey, the analytical side things, what we got going on here? You know, what's going on? So I just love that you were super transparent with that, you know. And since we're on these things, I really want you to share like a thrill that has really carried you through your journey so far.
A thrill that's carried me through my journey. I think just as I see just random texts that people send me. And just last week, I was kind of frustrated, and I got a text from a friend who she was understanding something in the book that she had never understood before. And she has gone to different churches, and she's had a faith for a really long time, but it was really cool to hear her what the little pieces that she's getting from it. And by doing the book study groups that I've done, women have gone from hopelessness to hopeful. I've had one woman, she couldn't sleep at night. She was so anxious, and she would just lay in bed, just like think about all the things that weren't right and worrying. And she doesn't do that anymore.
I love it.
And now my sister is going through this book in Arizona with a group of 17 women. And I'm super excited about that. And it's just so cool hearing stories of what's happening in her groups, even though I wish I could be in that group. But I'm super excited. This is meant to equip, empower, and multiply. And I can't wait to see what God's going to do.
I love it, Krystal. That is awesome. I love it. And the fact that that support right there is there just from the support of doing the book, taking it through with a group of other women, and then also that accountability all in one. That's super dope.
Yeah.
That's super dope. I love it. I love it. Well, we know with the thrills must come spill.
Oh, yeah.
So please share with us a spill that you're either going through right now or that you've gone through since you started this journey.
Yeah. Well, I've spilled a lot already, so I'm going to keep
It's true. It's true, but go ahead.
This is like the episode of the spills. So I'll just continue sharing.
Yes.
So the church I go to had a women's conference a couple weeks ago, and I was really struggling just what is coming next and the things that I know that God's put on my heart to go out, take this January. I'm going to release all these videos to anybody who wants to do this study. And with that, I am going to be speaking at different churches, different women's ministries, anybody that wants me to come and speak about freedom and purpose within this book. So here I am sitting here at this women's conference, and we're asked, we get this piece of paper. Here's my piece of paper. So we're getting real vulnerable right now. I'm sharing you what I said in tears in that church.
Raw and uncut.
Completely. And we were told to write down the facts that we see, that we feel. Sometimes these facts are lies. These were lies that I wrote down, and I know that, but this is what I was feeling. And here again, this is me picturing myself going out, doing these things, and I'm like, I'm not qualified to do this. And this is what I wrote. I'm too small. I'm not smart enough. And unknown to speak to broken women. So that's heavy.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I felt 2 weeks ago about myself. Even though I've already done all these things, we can still have those lies that pour into our crazy mind.
Yes.
And so then we got to flip this paper over. And on the other side, we were supposed to write God's promise. And what does he say about it? Because that's That's the flip side of it. That's why we're going to flip that. And we're going to say, what's the truth in that? And so I sat there and I'm like, God, what's the truth in this? Because I don't see any truth. And I just heard Psalm 139. Psalm 139 talks about that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Fearfully is like awestruck. Like we are awestruck, made in his image, in his eyes. We are made really good. But then it goes on to say later in Psalm 139, this is my paraphrase, that wherever we go, he's there. So if I go to Texas and go speak somewhere, because I got friends in Texas, I got family in Texas,
Yep.
and in Arizona,
Speaking that into existence. Come on.
yes. And if I go, there he is. And so I wrote down, if he opens a door of speaking, I won't be alone. He will give me the words. All I got to do is open my mouth. There's my spill.
I love it. I love it. Your energy is so amazing. You exude it so much, right? And I'm just so grateful that you are walking in purpose for yourself. You know, like you're so passionate, you're so powerful. And I'm super proud of you because you're going to claim them stages. You are going to claim them churches, those speaking engagements. I was the same way 4 years ago. I didn't even like to be on camera. I didn't want to do any of that. And now you can't keep me off of one. Okay.
Yes.
So it's just like, so I love that. So before we head out, please share. And you've just shared so much already, but I would love for you to close us out with just some powerful words of encouragement for someone that may be thinking about the journey, who's on the journey and stuck, or someone that just needs, some motivational advice.
I think what comes to mind is we get one life.
Yep.
And all the things that we've talked about today, if you're sitting in the rut, in the mess of whatever you're living in, it's not too late, no matter how old you are, no matter what you've done. It's not too late for you to just step up and be like, I'm ready. God, send me. Where is it? I'm available. If we just say, okay, I'm available and I'm ready, that's all we have to do. And sometimes if we just stay, what's going to happen? We're just going to, do you want to stay in the comfort that you're in? Or do you want to step out so that you can actually thrive into the amazing woman that God created you to be, because you are his masterpiece. You are fearfully awestruck and wonderfully made. And I am excited to hear, put in the comments later after you watch this and realize the things that you are about ready to do, like put in the comments. I'm going to go do this. I'm excited. Like, I'm your cheerleader right now. I'm pumping you up. It's time to go. You get one life. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I really want to thank you. Please let them know what's upcoming. We know what 2025 is because we're going to be in all these churches and doing these speaking engagements. But let us know where we can get our books from, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is the book. There's two versions. This one has QR codes that link you to the photos. I have another one that's a photo book on Amazon. This is the journal. This takes you on a ride. If you want to go on a ride, this goes even deeper with this. It goes together, but for each day, this is like a coaching journey to find freedom and purpose. So go on Amazon. You can find, if you look up Captivating Creation Seasons, you can search my name, Krystal Stegmaier.
I love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the link to buy the book will actually be in the podcast notes as well. So I want to thank you so much for coming in, blessing the podcast, doing what you do, and just being unapologetic about it. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I got to give you
Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all, we out of here. But listen, if you are interested in being a guest on The Woman's Hustle, the link to schedule an inquiry chat will also be in the podcast notes. Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, okay? Make sure that you share this out with somebody that may need it, a woman who is thinking about entrepreneurship, stuck in entrepreneurship, needing support in entrepreneurship. This podcast is for all of that. So I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Stay empowered, baby.
Woo!